Hello everyone, it's Becky here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video. Today I am doing a tag video which I very much like the sound of it because it's called the Snake Book Tag, and it is original tag which was created by lovely Rosika from Midnight Reader, and I just finished eating a cake my lovely flatmate did yesterday, so it's a perfect time. And without further ado, I will just jump to the questions, and the first prompt says, the chocolate chips cookie of books. Pick a book that is warm-hearted, uplifting and makes you less cynical about the world. And here, just a second, and here I have a perfect books which I already did mention here on my channel before, and you know it very well if you've been here for a while. And I only have two books right now, but it's a collection of poetry, and by this point you definitely know which one I mean, and it's by Courtney Peppernell. This is the one book I have here in Scotland which I ordered a couple months ago, called Watering the Soul. Absolutely beautiful, warm-hearted. It's the perfect way how to describe these books, because if you are looking for something which gives you really a uplift about the way you think about love and relationships, whether it's romantic ones, mostly romantic ones, or then friendship, or also self-love, and try to find a little bit of hope in the world, whether it comes regarding your dreams and hopes you have personally, this is the perfect way to reach out to books like this. The Watering the Soul, then the one I ordered very recently and I still haven't read it by the time I'm recording this video, is called The Way Back Home. Hope you see it. Absolutely wonderful books. The poetry writing, it's so beautiful. It made me cry several times when I was reading these books. And then I have another 4 books back home, which is the collection called Pillow Thoughts, and I will put the picture up here. So definitely something warm-hearted for me. It's Courtney Peppernell and her poetry books. Question number 2, salty. So pick a book of series that you couldn't stop reading or reaching for. And because I am not a big reader when it comes to series of books, I would say 2 authors, and those are my 2 favorite authors of all time, Daphne du Maurier books and Alexandra Dumas. And with them I still haven't read all of their books which are out, and for me that's a challenge I would really love to accomplish very soon. I would love to read all the books by these 2 authors because I absolutely love them, and if you like historical fiction and a little bit of mystery and romance and drama, definitely reach out to both of these authors. Question number 3, cheesy. Pick a book that you loved off or in spite of its cheesiness. The one book that came to my mind from my very recent reads would be this one, called The Anatomy of Love Story, and I did really enjoy this book. However, it wasn't 5-star reads for me because I felt that many of the incidents that happened in this book felt like a cliche to me and something you already seen before, and it was a little bit predictable and kind of cheesy in a way. That's why I came up with this prompt. Sorry, my laptop is dying. But despite it, I very much love this. This is set in Edinburgh in the past, when there is a main character of a girl who wants to become a surgeon, but obviously in the time period when this is set, it was not possible for a woman to become a doctor or a surgeon or be valued within this company which was created by men, basically. And there is a love story happening, and it's a very lovely book, and in a way for me it's a comfort read because it's set in Scotland in the past and I love it. It's historical fiction, but yeah, a little bit cheesy at times, so for me it would be this one. Okie doke. Prompt number 4, deep fried. So pick a book that hurt to read. Okay, so here I have a book which is again historical fiction, and I do love historical fiction very much, and I finished reading this book, I believe it was August this year. This one, Nikki, if you are watching, I know you're laughing. For me, Single Thread was a buddy read which I did with lovely Nikki from the Red Dot Reads. And it's by Tracy Chevalier, and I loved several books previously by this author, and this wasn't the worst book I have ever read, but the ending of this book physically hurt me, and I was raging and I was so pissed and I was so disappointed. So this is one book that came to my mind because it's a story of a woman who is searching for her place in the world, and she feels very much lonely and she struggles with her family relationships, and she moved to different towns, starts her new life, and she joins this group of women who do embroidery for the cathedral, but also there is a romance involved which I absolutely disapproved the whole time the book was happening, and it's just all over the place and you don't really know what is the main point of the story. I'm not sure if I like the main character, and the more I was reading it, the more I yeah, the more it hurt. And especially the ending, I think Nikki also mentioned one very much rambling and raging voicemail I left her on the Voxer when we finished reading this book. So yes, Single Thread for me would be one that really hurt. Right, ice cold, sorry, it's question number 5, and it says something to snack you want. I cannot read, I'm so sorry. Sometimes the snack you want can only come from the deep freezer. Pick a book that transports you to a cold place. And to be honest, I do not actually have a book for this prompt, and I would very much like you to recommend me something if you know of something, because I don't think I ever read a book which would be set, for example, in, I don't know, Antarctica or something like this. And this place was the first that came to my mind when I was reading this prompt. So if you have a book, no genre, like no matter the genre, which is set somewhere like this with ice and cold and very much wintry, please let me know in the comments, and I would very much love to read it. Question number 6, pick a book that made you make faces while you were reading it. I am still reading this book and I'm pre-recording this, so probably, hopefully, by the time by the time you will watch this video, I will be done with the book, and it's this one called Circe. I'm still not sure if that's how you pronounce the name. I'm in the middle of the book at this point, and from the very first chapter my flatmate was laughing at me very much because she was watching me as I was reading the book, and yes, faces, which I usually never do when reading a book, because yeah, why would you do it? I was making a lot of surprised and shocked faces, and I'm very much curious how this book's gonna end, so for me this would be Circe. Question number 7, healthy snack. So pick a book that you read to improve yourself in some ways. I am not a big reader when it comes to the self-improvement books. However, I love Fern Cotton and I love her podcast Happy Place, and I love her writing. So far I read 2 books by her. One was called Speak Your Truth, and then the one which came out, I believe, I read it in January, so I think it came either towards the end of the last year or at the very beginning of this year, and this was called, let me double check, Bigger Than Us. And I very much loved both books. I had them as audiobooks because they were narrated by her, and they very often speaks to you about you know, self-worth, and also gives you hope in many different areas of life, I would say. And this is probably the only thing from self-help books or motivational books I read, because I love Fern Cotton and the projects he's doing, especially with Happy Place and all these podcasts and sharing stories of different people, so I very much love it. Question number 8, juicy. So pick a book that is profoundly shareable, a book you want others to read. And here I have 2 books, and they are both non-fiction. The first one is A Life on Our Planet by Sir David Attenborough, because it's a must read if you haven't read this book, no matter the genre you prefer to read, or if you are interested in nature. I hope you are. If not, still read this book, because it's absolutely wonderful, yet very creepy read at some point when you realize what is actually happening to the planet, what we are doing to our planet, and I believe that Life on Our Planet is really an essential read for everyone, and I believe it should be included in the schools for kids to read, because yes. And then the second book would be Outspoken, which author I forgot, but I will pop it here. And this is a book which I read this year, and it's again non-fiction, and it's a collection of the speeches of incredible women throughout the centuries, throughout this world, from different aspects of life, whether those are queens or actresses or philosophers or activists. And it's a very versatile group of women who share their thoughts and opinions and ideas, and usually it was called during some speech they had regarding some incident or some event. And I absolutely love this. It's very much inspirational. It gives you a great overview of the women you should know about from literally centuries ago until this point. So very much recommend you to read this one. And then I believe there is last one, yes, which is the snack pack. Everyone wins when you swap and share your snacks, so tag some friends to do the tag. So I believe by this time there will be many people who already did it, but I will try, and I will tag Booking with Deborah, Rachel's Reading Nook, Leo Bancroft and Beauty Hemcam. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I apologize, but you lovely people, if you haven't done the tag, please do so, and then anyone else who would love to do this tag, please do it, because it's amazing, and I mean, books and food, that's the best. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will say bye, take care, and I will see you with another video very soon. Bye bye!